Are you tired of diet that won't work anymore? The problem isn't your willpower, it's your biology. Let's talk about what's really stopping your weight loss. Most women after 40 think that weight gain comes from exercising too little and eating too much. But that's not all the full story. Who's the real culprit? Hormonal shifts. It will impact your metabolism, your fat storing, and even sugar cravings. Here are 4 hormonal changes that happens in your 40s that will impact your weight loss. We have an estrogen drop, which creates more fat storage around the belly area. And cortisol increases. We sometimes become more sensitive to stress or have more stress at that time of life, having to take care of still children at home, aging parents, a career, or the list goes on. This creates more stubborn visceral fat. Again, fat around the belly area. Also, insulin resistance raises, which means that your body becomes less efficient at processing carbohydrates. Also, the thyroid slows down. This means a naturally lower metabolic rate. So if you're still eating the same way that you were in your 30s, but your hormones have changed, that means your body is handling food differently. And that is why weight loss feels impossible. I'm curious, which of those 4 issues do you feel is blocking your weight loss? For me, I think it's cortisol and stress. Let me know in the comment below, which area is it for you? Is it also stress and cortisol, or is it something else? Now, let's take a deeper look at each of these hormonal change and see what they mean for your metabolism. First, estrogen drops. Ever wonder why belly fat becomes a struggle after 40? One big reason is estrogen levels dropping. Before menopause, estrogen helped keep the fat storage, mainly in the hips and thighs area. But as estrogen declines, your body shifts fat storage around the belly area instead. This is a biological adaptation, not just a cosmetic issue. The body starts prioritizing visceral fat, which means fats around the organ, because that fat creates estrogen. Because belly fat produces estrogen on its own, the body views this as a backup plan. The problem? This type of body fat is much harder to lose at an increased inflammation, insulin resistance, and metabolic issues. On top of that, lower estrogen affects your hunger hormones such as ghrelin and leptin. Many women notice that they feel hungrier and experience more craving, especially for carbs, and have a harder time feeling full after meals. This can lead to unintentionally overeating, increasing fat storage. One of the most frustrating things about this shift is that diet and exercise that always used to work for you in the past no longer seems to be efficient. Cutting calories might have led to weight loss in your 30s, but now it just slows down your metabolism further. Instead of fighting this hormonal change, the goal should be to work with your body, not against it, which means an adaptation in nutrition, what you eat, when you eat, and also in exercise, the frequency and the intensity of it. Second hormonal shift, cortisol rises. Cortisol is often called the stress hormone. It gets a bad rep, but really, it is essential for our survival. When the body perceives stress, whether it's coming from work, family, over dieting, over exercising, or even poor sleep, it releases cortisol to prepare for a fight or flight response. Cortisol is not evil. Short burst of cortisol is beneficial. The issue is that most of us live a lifestyle that creates a chronic level of stress, which leads to a consistently higher level of cortisol, which triggers fat storage, especially in the belly area. One of cortisol's primary function is to raise blood sugar to create energy for a perceived emergency. So in other words, if you're chronically stressed, your body will produce sugar even if you don't eat it, because this is one of the main roles of cortisol. When this happens, insulin spikes to level back down blood sugar levels. Over time, frequent blood sugar spike leads to insulin resistance, making it hard for your body to use carbohydrates efficiently. Instead, more sugar is stored as fat. Another issue is cortisol impact on cravings and appetite regulation. Elevated cortisol level can lead to increased cravings for sugar and carbs because your body is looking for more energy. Higher level of ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone, which means it makes it harder to control your portions, and it can lead to poor sleep quality, which further disrupt the metabolism and the hunger signal. Have you ever noticed that after a bad night of sleep, you feel ravenous the next day? That's why. Cortisol also plays a role in muscle breakdown, which means that after 40, it makes it very important to prioritize muscle building instead of excessive cardio. Many women over 40 try to lose the belly fat by doing more cardio, but too much high-intensity exercise can trigger cortisol, leading to more fat storage instead of weight loss. Addressing cortisol is crucial because even if your diet is perfect, if your stress hormones are out of control, it will feel nearly impossible to lose any fat. So what to do? To support your cortisol level, focus on good quality sleep. So that means no screen time before bed, a regular bedtime, and also magnesium glycinate can be a helpful resource. You can also practice stress management practices such as breath work, mindfulness, and even walking. And lastly, replace excessive cardio exercise with strength training and lower intensity exercise like Pilates or walking. Okay, third hormonal shift, insulin resistance. Insulin is the key hormone responsible for fat storage. It determines how your body will process sugar or carbohydrates, whether it will store it as fat or use it as energy. As women age, their insulin sensitivity naturally goes down. This leads to a higher level of insulin. And when insulin is high, the body is stuck in a fat storage mode, making it a whole lot harder for your body to burn fat. Common signs of insulin resistance are constant sugar and carb craving, afternoon energy crashes and brain fog, feeling hungry an hour or so after you ate, stubborn belly fat that won't budge, and there are many more symptoms. By understanding how insulin works after 40, you can make better food choices that support fat loss and not sabotages it. Fourth hormonal change, thyroid slowdown. Your thyroid is one of the master regulator of metabolism. After 40, it naturally slows down because of the drop of reproductive hormones. This is often called thyropause. This means that you burn fewer calories at rest, which means it makes it easier for you to gain weight and harder for you to lose weight. If your thyroid is struggling, you might notice symptoms such as feeling cold all the time, especially with your hands and feet, having thinner and weaker hair, and low energy. To support your thyroid through thyropause, it's important to prioritize nutrient-dense food that have iodine, selenium, and zinc. Include healthy fat and protein to fuel the reproductive hormones, and you'll want to avoid extreme carb restriction for long periods. When thyroid is well supported, your metabolism functions more efficiently, which means more energy and an easier time losing weight. Now that we know why it's so hard to lose weight after 40, well, what can we do about it? If you want to know what food works best for losing weight after 40, watch my next video where I break it all down for you. See you there.